Hey, Coach. You guys have collectively just done a tremendous job limiting Toronto's top skill players. What do you think has been the biggest factor in allowing you as a team to be able to do that?
I don't know. I go through the video and I don't feel that. We give up about 5 2-on-1s in the first 7 minutes of that game. The second half of game 2, there's lots there. I think it's just inches inside the post and outside the post is the difference with those good players. We've missed some chances too. You know, we had a bunch. They had a whole bunch of 2-on-1s. We had a bunch of breakaways that change kind of everything when it doesn't go in. The game stays where it is. Each team probably could have gone on goal runs, and they just haven't happened. So I don't know, spotlight normally is on the guys that you don't expect to score. I understand it. And Barkov didn't get any shots in his first game against Boston. That was a story. But Dalpe scored in the series, so that's a story.
Sergei Bobrovsky, obviously, we know how much work he puts in his legendary routine. No matter what the results are, he's kind of always doing the same thing.
Correct.
So what have you noticed differently maybe about when he does put in the work and the results do end up being different like they are now?
Nothing. Like, that's the point of what he does. He has a routine. I think over the last couple of years, and this would be anecdotally from conversations with Rob Tallis, that maybe over the last 3 years, he's, as you should as you age, found different ways to recover, different ways to train, different ways to get ready. But he gets into a routine now that he's had. I would say he's had it all year from what I noticed. He goes on early. He has a stretching routine. He has a whole bunch of prep things that he does. He stays late. He's almost, the last guy out of the room. And that's his thing. I'm not joking around. I don't know anything about goaltending. I know body language, right? I can feel when I think a guy's comfortable in the net and when he's not. But sometimes that doesn't mean anything. Because the start of game 2, I didn't think he looked real comfortable. The puck was bobbling a little bit on him, and then he was lights out. So I stayed the hell away from the goaltenders. They freaked me out.
It's tough to try to follow that. But you, after Game 7, before you guys got on the plane, you talked about how your thinking has kind of evolved a little as far as not moving on from a big moment too quickly. How does that sort of thinking manifest itself now over these next couple of days, knowing it's 3-0, but knowing that the job obviously isn't done?
Yeah, enjoy your day. That's it. Just enjoy your day. So if we're doing this right, next game won't be any different than any of the first 10. Right? It's game day. We got a routine that we follow. Today is recovery day, so our team performance guys run the day. That's the same day we've been doing on any non-skate, non-pre-game. We have a bunch of things that we do, and then we got a game for tomorrow, and we know what the practice is. We know, like, it's done. Enjoy being around each other. Enjoy the day, and everybody knows, you come game time, you don't have to drink a lot of coffee to get ready for that one, but they're all the same. You got a little bit of a tan, mister. You have not been indoors the entire time.
Busted.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about Sasha Barkov and his quiet leadership? It seems to be that way with him and his work ethic, but also the way that's kind of meshed with the arrival of a Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett a couple of years before that. It seems like the sharing of the leadership, right, and one guy who appreciates maybe not getting as much glare, if that makes any sense.
I would think that Barkov really enjoys having Matthew here. He's a quiet man. He's articulate. He's very bright. He's just a quiet man. So much of his leadership is truly by example. Very fit guy, comes to camp, coach's dream, right? He works his butt off in practice every day. There's never any issues, First question, where are you most comfortable on the power play? I'll play anywhere. Thank God. And that's him. And then there's a section of people in your locker room that can relate specifically to that. Some of his countrymen, the people whose personalities are like that, right? He's got a group of people that he relates to, and then you've got the Chuck world, and then there's a whole bunch of great stories in there, like the Lombergs and the Nick Cousins and the Radko Gudisches and Mark Stahl's sense of humor. Like, everybody's got a piece and a little neighborhood that they run.
Feels like Aaron's been playing probably his best hockey of the year once the postseason started. I'm wondering, I know he had some injuries early in the year. Is it a product of him being healthier than he's been all year? It seems like him and Gustav have kind of really figured out that chemistry.
I don't think it's health, because he got banged up in that Boston series. He's fine now, but there were a couple of games that were hard for him to get through. I was really impressed that he was able to come back and play. And in one of them, it was a tough night for him, but and somebody asked me about, what'd you think of Aaron Ekblad's game? And I want to say, yeah, amazing for what he was playing with, but he's got out of that. I think what you're seeing, because Ekblad and Barkov's game have built from game one of the playoffs to now. They're both really strong now. It goes to that appreciation. You get a little bit older, a little more time in, the desire and the need to play well at this time of year is strong with those two. The force is strong with that one. Sorry. I wore my Star Wars shirt yesterday.
Paul, wondering your thoughts on the idea of killer instinct. Is that something that certain players and certain teams have, or is it just something the media comes up with and then uses to describe teams that win?
Yeah, I've never got that. Nobody comes to the rink casual ever, right, in the playoffs. Are you powerful enough to will a team down? I think sometimes that's actually more talent, because our team's playing his ass off as hard as it can. We don't have 4 more gears to get to, right? Drop the puck, top speed, that's all we got. The results take care of themselves. If you win the next game, I don't think that you found your killer instinct. I don't think that we've been stalking anybody and we decided to pounce now. It's kind of a cat reference, I think. I get it. I get it in the vernacular of pro sports, right? If you win the last game, you show killer. I just never particularly understood that. But it would go back to kind of the idea and the theme, and it's just the. You know what you're going to try to do? Go out there and play your ass off. That's it. We don't need to. Why would we necessarily try to change our mentality now if you're in a game where you have a chance to win, which would be game 7 for us, right? Like that just play your ass off. See what happens.
I know you're looking one game at a time and all that stuff, but can players like Ekblad and Barkov, can they enjoy the moment of it? I mean, we had Ekblad up here last night. He's been on a lot of sad podiums with the Panthers, and now it seems like both are just like, he was just looking around like, this is weird, you know? Can they enjoy what's going on here?
Well, if they can't, so I'm going to say yes, because we openly talk about that idea in between periods. If you can't enjoy it, then you need to leave, and I know it for a fact. Like, truly, I'm not saying you're not nervous or you're not wound up or you're not all jacked up. You are. But if you can't find a way to enjoy that, then that's kind of sad. Like, why work your ass off your entire life to get to a place that you really don't enjoy the day that you worked your ass off to get to? That would make little sense.
Paul, just in terms of historically, you've taken a few teams on long playoff runs. Are there any qualities that a team that can do that kind of achievement share that you notice with the Panthers?
The players run the room. It gets to a point at some point in the season when the players run the room, where the coach becomes smaller and smaller in importance as you go. I don't go in. I don't talk to the team before they go on the ice. So I do like my meeting, right? But 6 minutes before, I'm not in there firing them up. It's not my room anymore, right? The players run the room. They get themselves ready to play. They handle themselves on the bench. Yeah, I mean, I got stuff I got to do. I got a job. But all the really funny stuff that goes on, all the good stuff that goes on those runs, Now, we got our own little room, coach's room, and we were funny as hell back there and way offside most nights. But it's the players take over the room, the emotional depth of the room.
How have you seen Sam Bennett evolve as a pro, both from afar and close, and what has his impact been?
It's a major surprise for me, Emily. Like, and this is why I think all your job is so tough. Because I'm in the room every single day, and I'm still trying to figure out my guys, right? And I talk to them every day, and I'm there every day, and I spend a lot of time in the game, and I'm still trying to figure them out. So when I'm on the bench in Winnipeg and I'm watching him in Calgary, I don't know Sam Bennett. Right, I know him as a player, third and fourth line guy, on the wing, in the middle. So I have an idea of him as a player. And then I get here and it's completely opposite, right? You get through training camp and you're going, oh man, can this guy move? Well, he's hard. I mean, I knew he was a hard man, like he's tough. But the consistency and the skill level, I didn't know. That's why it's hard to do your job, to truly understand players, because you got 32 teams and you get to see them on TV. And even if you're covering one team every day, you don't get that deep understanding of a player. So there'd be 3 or 4 guys, but he would be probably the biggest. Maybe it's surprise is the right word, but this guy's a player, right? Like, and he's a unique player. He's really hard. He's got excellent speed. He's incredibly consistent. And this is not, I'm not trying to be funny, even the mistakes that he makes, if you call them mistakes, are the same kind, because they're through effort, and you really never show him the next day because you go, well, yeah, it didn't work out, but he's trying his ass off, right? He would be the biggest surprise for me.
I want to go back to something you just said about how the players run the room, how the players own the room. People that have probably never been in a locker room or haven't coached or don't get to do what we do, not that we know much, would think that the coach has his thumb on everything, right on that control freaky kind of line. I guess where did it come from with you to give the players more freedom than maybe most people would think a coach kind of would allow? I'm
not really maybe articulating it right. We got a set of things that we do, set standards, designed concept, fit your style of play to the personnel that you have. But we don't sit with them on the plane, we don't sit with them on the bus, and we don't sit with them in that room. And there comes a time, and maybe this is a better way, when you're standing behind the bench and you go to say something and somebody else is saying it. And that's way more impactful. The guy, we got to pick up that F3 coming through the middle, and somebody else says it, and you go, okay, well, I don't have to say that anymore. Or you give up a goal and 3 guys get up and down the bench. We're fine. No, I don't have to say that anymore. That's more what I mean. We have a job, but the players eventually take it over.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys.